Hello everyone, my name is Deckerlink, the trained unprofessional, and welcome back to Tennis Ace. On the last episode, I was recording well into the night, and then now, about 12 hours later, I have slept, gone to the store, done a few other things, and now I am back. Yes, I am wearing the same shirt. Yes, I did go out in public in clothes I've worn for at least 3 days in a row. I really don't care anymore. I just want to play this game. My throat is mostly recovered, so I should be fine. So let's see how I do. Alright, we're starting off with some dots. Today, for some weird reason, I woke up feeling a little different. Even though mornings don't come to me very easily, I woke up today feeling light. I was even humming a few songs while I get ready for school. When I stopped to think about it, they all have been songs I heard June playing on the piano. This entire thing feels very unusual for me. Usually I'm the type to set up multiple alarms in 5-minute increments just to make sure I don't cancel one and end up waking up late. And I have no shame in saying that I usually always cancel the first few alarms. But today, and I don't know why that happened, I woke up half an hour before my first alarm feeling pretty good, actually. I've been in a surprisingly good mood lately, but I still could never shake off that feeling of permanent drowsiness. Like, no matter how much sleep I get, I'm always tired and wanting more sleep. I suppose one could just say I'm lazy. I used to dealing with it when I was younger and was surprisingly active back then. At the very least, no one could really tell that deep down I was a lazy child. But as my motivation tanked the past few years, I've gotten more and more lazy to the point that teachers began referring to me as a problem child. That thought on its own is already kind of bizarre when I think about my experiences in my old school, but once I've gotten used to it, I didn't even bat an eye. I suppose I might have just become apathetic towards my own situation. Couldn't really pinpoint the reason why, but my attitude started to change very slowly once again. I wasn't quite sure when it was that I began looking forward to facing my daily routine again. But recently, after being forcefully made aware of one fact I hadn't noticed until now, my perception started to change. There he is again. It was right after I met that clumsy, silly tiger that my outlook began to change once again. Once I became aware of that fact, I started feeling really uncomfortable. First of all, how could someone change my life that much without me realizing? Even if I was just keeping an eye on him because I felt like he was some kind of helpless stray kitten that I needed to take care of. The reality is that, little by little, I saw myself getting more involved in his life. Watching him rehearse, going to his piano competitions, playing games together, meeting his family, helping him study, going out with all on my own. It was right around the time that I first met June that I felt myself being jolted awake and becoming active again. Until then, I was just happy spacing out in class or even skipping it entirely to laze around on the rooftop. Going straight home right after class was over and not putting much effort into anything. Hell, I'd only go out with my friends if they went through all the trouble of organizing group outings and dragging me over to them. I didn't even realize how much they were having to coddle me for us to keep all in contact until just recently. When I think back at it, I feel a pang of guilt welling up in my chest. I really need to apologize at some point for being so self-absorbed. I didn't even know what kind of trouble they'd been going through because I kept pulling away without realizing. I truly am a shameless person. Even as I'm thinking these thoughts over to myself, I can't help but think that this degree of introspection is really unlike me. Which is a problem in and of itself. I can't keep complaining that June lacks self-awareness and then being completely oblivious myself. That's just hypocritical. Hell, it wasn't even until last week that I realized just how rough I can be when speaking to other people. Having to be lectured in public for saying unnecessary and hurtful things. What am I, a child? And as I was struck thinking these weird thoughts, before I noticed I had already gotten myself ready and arrived to class way earlier than usual. Of course, I spent quite a bit of time spacing out by myself in my own desk. I suppose old habits die hard. I kept fidgeting absent-mindedly, constantly looking over to the chair next to mine and waiting for a certain tiger to arrive. God, how pathetic am I? Do I really need June to be here to do anything at all? It's good to think over my own behavior at times, but I don't want to get stuck thinking things like this all morning. It makes my head hurt. So I need to find some kind of way to distract myself. Shouldn't be too hard. Most of my classmates are here already. At least the ones that I have any kind of interaction with. Oh good, the mid-cards are back. They're spread around in their own groups. I suppose I could just insert myself in one of them and go from there. Not like it'd be hard, even if we don't talk often. I like to think that I have a positive relationship with most of them. So, who do I go to pass time with until class starts? We got Ayako and Gin, Jean and Ryoji, and Kyoko and Vic. I can't imagine that this choice really fucking matters, so I guess I'll go with Jean and Ryoji. Yeah. I see Jean and Ryoji having a conversation together in a corner of the room, both seemingly smiling and laughing along. Ryoji isn't holding his phone or any other kind of portable device like he usually would, which is unusual. But in general, despite Jean being somewhat annoying with how boisterous and loud he can be, he is also one of the funniest people to hang out with. Hey there, what are you two talking about? Rutherford, good timing. Settle a dispute for us, will you? Sure, if I can. Hey, getting outside opinions is cheating. The bear raises an eyebrow, shooting him a weird look. You're just saying that because you think he's gonna agree with me. And you didn't ask him because you think he's gonna agree with you? Oh, you didn't just ask him. Okay, yeah, shit, sorry. I woke up, went to the store, and then took a nap, so I'm sleep-logged. Just a reminder that I still have no idea what's going on, guys. You played on both the current generation consoles, right? Yeah, I have. I don't own both, but Shuichi's let me borrow his before, since he really uses it. Right, anyway. You know how the two have very different controller designs? Yeah, they do. The Imperia's controller is much fatter and more rounded, while the Ruby is more angular. Right, yeah. That's the proper way to describe them. I was having trouble coming up with the right words. Doesn't surprise me. What'd you say? Nothing. Nuts clicks his tongue, crossing his arms and frowning at me with an attempted menacing look. I just choose to ignore him. Let me guess. You guys are arguing about which one's better. That's right. Now, I'm not going to tell you what each of our opinions are so as to not color your impression. I just want to know which way you lean on. I know I'm supposed to be thinking of the question they've given me, but instead I'm thinking I'm just awed how someone who barely knows more than basic grunts to everything is always spacing out can be so eloquent as soon as the subject is gaming. He's like an idiot savant or something. But back to the matter at hand. Well, I've played the Imperia a lot less, since I don't really have one. Their first generation controllers a few years ago were truly awful, though. Whose ever idea was to put a keyboard in the back controller is really an idiot. He nods thoughtfully, his expression betraying nothing. Right, I agree with you so far. That's sad. Because the controller is chunkier, it also fits on the hand better. My fingers aren't having to reach around it and tense like a claw because it's so thin. They just naturally rest on the keys. So I'd say I like the Imperious controller better. What? Unlike the bear who's good at keeping a poker face on and seemingly neutral while talking, the mouse's consternation is written plainly on his face. Yoji's mouth quivers ever so slightly, quirking up in a smile for only barely a second before going back to its usual stoic look. See, I told you. That proves nothing. Why are you getting so riled up over this? It's just a game controller. Hearing me refer to it as just a game controller, Kamigawa's brow twitches visibly for a second. I immediately realized that making light of anything gaming related in front of him is probably not the best idea, so I quickly try to cover up for my mistake. But it's cool that you guys are so passionate over it. Having passion is good, you know. Amusingly, even though the bear's expression doesn't really shift at all, I can also tell that his face is relaxed considerably. Gotta remember to know my audience before speaking. If anything, it at least proves that you have an unpopular opinion. Unpopular doesn't mean it's wrong. It is a discussion of personal preferences, so there's hardly ever going to be an absolute right opinion anyway. But with that said, if you think the Ruby is a better controller, then you're wrong and you're an idiot. Damn. It sounded like the Ruby is the PlayStation, and I like the PlayStation 4 controller, but I think the DualShock design is way better than the Xbox One controller design. But, you know, that's just me. Now you're just throwing wood onto the fire on purpose. Kamigawa shrugs, watching the mouse grind his teeth with his head slightly to the side. Just you wait. When Kobayashi gets here, I'm gonna ask his opinion. I'm sure he'll side with me. The bear scoffs, this time to the derisive smile on his face becoming plain for all to see. Kobayashi is a man of culture. There's no way he'd side with you. Why are you guys even dragging June into this? He's not even here. He's the only other person in his class that comes close to sharing my love for games. It goes without saying that I respect his opinion more than anyone else's. Hey, we've known each other for 2 years and talk about games often. How come you're disregarding me so quickly? No offense. You can't just retroactively call no offense. It seems like I just did. Starting to think I liked you better when you barely talked. Oh, fuck you. The goddamn teacher's here. Of course the teacher would be here. It's class, but damn it. The bell rings in the middle of Shima-sensei's lecture on the 5 greatest generals in feudal Japan. The buck sighs, quickly writing an assignment on the board.
For our next class, I want you all to write a paper on the most influential figures in the Sengoku period.
It's alright.
Make sure not to stray from the pre-established guidelines on academic research you were given last month. I will see you all then.
And there he goes. He quickly grabs his belongings and walks out of the classroom. Students quickly turn around on their seats, taking the opportunity to chat while they're waiting for the next teacher to arrive. We're supposed to be having modern literature class now, which isn't exactly the most exciting. It's actually a little odd that the teacher isn't here already. She tends to always be really punctual. After a couple of minutes, the sound of the door being slid open causes all the students to straighten their back and turn around to look forward. But instead of the door at the front of the classroom being opened, it's instead the back door that the sound originates from. Oh boy, there he is. Jun walks into the classroom, freezing for a second once he notices all the eyes on him. Oh, Jesus. Quickly mouths off an apology to any who still have their eyes on him, fidgeting a little from all the attention suddenly gathered on him before walking to his seat. As soon as he comes closer, I begin to notice how his eyes look a little unfocused. Our boy's on drugs. Someone gave June the devil's lettuce. His fur is slightly matted, and there are bags under his eyes, which are really hard to notice due to him having stripes so close to them. Is everything okay? You don't look so good.
Huh? Oh, right. Yeah, it's fine. Just woke up feeling a little weak this morning.
His voice is weak, and it's like he's laboring to even speak in the first place, coming out much softer than usual. A little weak. That's the opposite of being okay. What happened?
The fatigue has just started catching up to me a little bit.
Just fatigue? You look like you're about to drop.
It's not that bad. I just look a little worse for wear since I didn't spend as much time getting ready in the morning.
Getting ready? You're not a girl. Shut up.
I still need to take good care of myself. Brushing my fur takes a lot of energy, and I just didn't feel like it.
And that's all it is. You just didn't put much effort into getting ready in the morning.
Yeah.
And how come you were so late? You missed the first period. His words are cut off at the sound of the door being opened once again, this time coming from the front of the class. Oh, Lord. Okay. Hello. Katsuragi-sensei walks in, quickly excusing herself before stepping toward the teacher's desk. Good morning. I'm sorry for the short notice, but Hakumo-san had to step out due to an emergency. So I'll be teaching this class today instead. I have here a list with her class plan for today. Please open your textbooks to page 241. Jun mouths off a quick "we'll talk later" before quickly digging in his bag for his textbook. Sometime later, Jesus Christ. The bell finally rings for the end of the fourth period, announcing the start of lunch break. Students break into cheerful and bubbly conversation as the initial commotion of people either leaving for the cafeteria or reorganizing their desks to eat together resolves itself. I looked at June, seeing the tiger pulling a disposable plastic box with a convenience store lunch still wrapped in the plastic inside. That's what you're having for lunch? What about the food you usually bring?
Well, I'm the one who usually makes my own lunches. Since I went to bed early last night, I didn't make any for today.
Brock keeps twitching all the time, and every now and then he just freezes with all the muscles on his face contracting as if he just felt something out of nowhere. You look awful.
That's kind of a mean thing to say.
You know what I mean? You look like you're really not doing well. He straightens himself up in his chair, although even the way he moves is a little weird. Like he can barely put strength in his limbs. His legs shake a little under his own weight as he attempts to quickly get up and readjust himself on his chair.
You're being dramatic. I'm just a little tired.
Come on, don't just give me that crappy excuse. You don't look good.
I just need to eat a little bit and I'll feel better.
Maybe you should go to the doctor's office instead.
You worry too much, Rutherford-san. I appreciate the sentiment, but seriously, I'm fine.
Even if says so, the corners of his mouth twitch while he attempts to keep the smile on his face. Really? You're not gonna faint on me or anything, are you?
No, I'm not gonna faint.
Morning. Oh, that's a very unenthusiastic greeting for you.
Well, I don't always feel full of energy.
June's the same way. I wonder if it's something in the water.
Oh, he's right. You look like hell. Thanks. Wait, I didn't mean it like that.
Saya grabs a chair and spins it around, taking a seat next to the tiger and pressing her hand against his forehead.
You don't seem to have a fever. Why is everyone fussing over me today?
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
I just wanted to make sure you're okay. Did something happen? I could ask the same thing. You really don't have your usual energy today.
Deflection master.
Yeah, this has been a stressful week. It's hard to be cheerful at times like these. Same here.
God, this is painful to watch. You sound like they've done 30 bouts against a pro wrestler and they're trying to pretend that they're fine. Don't ask me how I came up with that metaphor, just popped into my mind. Did something happen to you, Saya?
Midterm week is always stressful. And then a friend of mine was kind of down, so I spent a lot of time worrying about him and kind of trying to cheer him up a bit.
That was Shoichi.
Is that why you couldn't join us on Friday?
Yeah. Wait, you told me in a message that you couldn't join because you had a shift.
Well, I did have a shift, but I know that friend from work, so I was able to keep an eye on him anyway. Sounds like a really packed schedule.
It was. So he makes a sharp noise, her eyes immediately looking on something I can't see. She leans forward a bit, her face hanging a few inches from June's.
What is going on?
He reaches forward with her hand, touching a spot on June's forehead, and... Ow! Nearly falls back, jumping away from her hand and yelping in pain. What the...
Hey, what happened to your forehead? You got a big bruise on it.
He rubs a spot he had just touched, his eyes twitching from the pain. With him now rubbing it, I catch a quick glimpse under the fur and notice that, truly enough, there is a small bump on his forehead that is tinged with the skin underneath a deep purplish color.
It's not a big deal, I just hit my head. Hit your head? How do you even manage that? I kind of wasn't really paying attention where I was going for a couple of reasons. I ended up walking face first into a lamppost when I was going back home from the grocery store yesterday. What?
Saya's eyes go wide, staring at the tiger in stunned silence. I'm just gonna steal Saya's line and ask it again. How the hell did you manage that?
I had other things going on at the time, and I just wanted to get home as quickly as possible. Come on, let's not make a big deal out of nothing. It was just a silly accident.
No, that's a little bit. This is the second time in a short time where he somehow manages to injure his head. I'm starting to wonder if this is a common occurrence. Maybe that's why he seems to have a screw loose all the time. Just be careful you don't walk into traffic one of these days.
You mincing fucking cunt! And I will tear your fucking skin off. I will wear it to your mother's birthday party, and I will rub your nuts up and down her leg whilst whistling Bohemian fucking Rhapsody, right?
Of course not. Don't be ridiculous.
Oh, here's the stoic friend zone boy. Just then the last member of our senior group walks into the room. Hey, there you are. Haven't said a word all weekend. Good morning to you too. Right. Good morning.
Morning, Shuichi-san. Morning.
These are the most depressing greetings I've ever heard. What's happened to you guys? You all look and sound like you're dead inside. What do you want us to say? The past week or so has been really exhausting for a lot of reasons.
At least the two of us just look like we're tired. Jun-kun really looks like he's sick. I'm not sick.
She's right, though. I think the kindest thing I could say is that you look out of it, and even that would be putting it mildly.
You look really out of it too, and I'm not saying anything about it. Shuichi might look tired, but you look downright...
What is this? Misery Olympics? Are you guys seriously competing to see who's doing worse? What does it matter? You all look terrible. I cut them off, not wanting their discussion to go on any longer. If I let them, I'm sure they're going to continue arguing for 5 minutes over this, and I really don't have the patience for that. That was uncalled for.
Hey, Jun-kun, are you alright? You're barely even picking at your food, let alone eating.
Oh, Jesus.
I wish everyone would stop asking me that. Has it crossed your mind that I might just not be hungry?
I don't know where June smashes his fist on the table, making the three of us jump a little with shock. Sorry, I didn't mean to upset you. Ooh. Like he just realized what he did, June immediately lowers his gaze, looking down at his food. Takes a deep breath, placing the lid back on top of his lunchbox and meekly pushing it away.
Maybe you're right. Maybe I'm a little out of it.
I think you should go to the doctor's office if you're feeling sick. I already told him that. He ignored me.
It's fine. I just need to rest a little once the day is over. It's not like the doctor would be able to do anything about it anyway. How can you know that? Have you been like this before? Well, I guess you could say my body is a little frailer than most. I just have a hard time dealing with constant fatigue.
Just fatigue, but aren't you... As soon as he says that sees the change in June's expression, the husky trails off, not finishing his sentence. Yeah, you're probably right. Just make sure you get some rest after you're done for the day, okay? Man, it's so fucking frustrating that everyone else knows shit and won't tell us. Like, it's so fucking frustrating. Whoa, you changed your mind really quickly? What else can you do? He's the only one who can know how he's feeling. If he says he's fine, then you can't really disagree with him, can you? But besides, if anything happens, Rutherford's right here to take care of him, right? But why me? You two already spent a lot of time together anyway. You probably know June better than any of us here. I'm sure you'll drag him away by force if you feel he's not doing well. Isn't that a lot of responsibility to put on me? Also, that's a really grim scenario. But man, the mood's got really down in here all of a sudden, hasn't it? Oof. Do you think you can still sit through class, June?
I already told you I'm fine, Rutherford-san. Please stop pushing.
Despite the smile on his face, I noticed the fur on the back of his neck prickling up dangerously. His tail lashes erratically behind him in a very obvious manner. Despite his attempt to act like nothing is bothering, his deteriorating mood is clear to see. Yeah, you're right. Hey, by the way, how did you guys spend your weekends? Anything interesting? I decided that a tactical retreat is the best option for now. Not least of all because I don't want an angry tiger breathing down my neck for the rest of the day. There's still a lot of time before class ends.
Huh? Where did that come from? I mean, I spent most of it organizing my schedule at work and for the rest of the month, and also checked in on a friend a few times.
I just stayed home. Really? You need to spend your time better, man. I didn't really feel like going out. Oh. Did something happen? No, I'm fine. I swear to God, all you keep repeating just about how fine you are, but this feels like a funeral procession instead of a laid-back lunch. Right. Of course you're fine. Everyone's always fine. What about you, June? Did you do anything fun this weekend? June? Is he ignoring me right now?
Hey, I just remembered Keikun saying something about how his band wanted to sign up for some kind of competition that was gonna happen in town in a while. That's interesting, right?
Oh, yeah, totally. What else did he say? Maybe we should call him up to ask.
Good idea, maybe we should.
Urishihara usually uses his lunch break to eat and study alone at the library. He'll probably have his phone turned off.
He does? How do you know that?
Because I talk to people and I ask them things. Besides, he barely has any friends outside of us, and he doesn't have lunch with us because of the grade difference. What did you think he was doing?
I don't know. I never really thought about it.
Of course you didn't. You and Rutherford both have your heads up in the clouds, after all. Hey, why are you bringing me into this? You're the one who said to call him. Clearly you didn't know either. I mean, I give up. Also, who's Shoichi to fucking say that our head's in the fucking clouds? Even though Saya and I are doing the best we can to try to steer the conversation back to normality, even Shoichi is working against us for some reason. Both him and June just stare into space and with blank expressions and refuse to engage at all. The mood around us is gloomier than it ever has been before. It feels like a heavy dark shroud hanged above us the entire time. Just thinking about it, I could all feel shivers running up my spine every now and then. Jesus. A few hours later, I sit in silence staring at June scribbling something down on his notebook without saying a word. The bell rang a few minutes ago, and yet he's still copying down the information that is written down on the board. A lot of students have already cleared out of the classroom, heading to their respective clubs now that the club activities have resumed. I myself should be heading to mine right now, as should June, but I really want him to head home right now. Today has just made me feel really uneasy in general, and I can't quite put my finger on the why. Eventually he finishes his copying and begins silently packing his things away in his bag. God damn, I just got this really bad fucking white noise. Oh, fuck. You randomly get that? The sound of like an old CRT TV turning on, that like high-pitched white noise. Oh, shit. I suppose you're going home now, right? Want me to walk you to the gate before I head to practice?
No need. I'm going to practice a little in the music room.
Oh, what? You shouldn't really. Before I can even finish speaking, look in his face makes me bite down on my tongue. June getting legitimately mad isn't something that happens often, so seeing such an angry look on his face catches me by surprise.
Won't you stop that? How many times do I need to tell you that it's fine?
I'm just worried about you. You look really pale and weak, you barely even touched your food at all, and you look like you're in pain.
I look like I'm in pain. How would you even tell? You don't know what I'm feeling.
Well, maybe not, but
I'm not a child. I'm perfectly capable of taking care of myself.
Nearly jumps out of the chair and onto his feet. Almost immediately, his knees buckle. I try reaching out to grab him, but he slams his fist down on the table and stabilizes himself, pushing me away.
It's fine. I just got up too fast and I got a little dizzy.
Why are you being so stubborn? You're clearly not fine. You're the complete opposite of fine. You look like you were about to drop since this morning, and you just keep getting worse. Even your lips are turning white.
They are?
He reaches his hand towards his face, hesitantly touching his lip with the tip of his middle finger. As if you could see the color of his lips by touching it. Yes, they are. You're obviously not doing well. Stop being so fucking stubborn and making trouble for everyone else. Just get some goddamn rest before I have to drag you by the tail. Ooh. June sits back down on his chair, all the energy completely draining from his face. His shoulders sag as he hunches forward, looking down at his feet.
Okay.
Okay? Really? Just like that?
I'll do whatever you say.
What? How did that work this well? Was the threat of dragging it by the tail? I need to remember this for future reference. That's surprisingly agreeable of you.
Sorry. I didn't mean to be such a pain in the ass.
I'm not going to say that it's fine, but we'll work on it. Just be a little more mindful of your health.
Right.
So, being serious, right? You'll do what I say.
Yeah.
Man, you don't look happy about it at all.
I'm not. But I don't want to cause problems either.
And you won't snap at me for telling you to rest?
I promise I won't.
Alright. This turned around pretty quickly. Good job, me. I don't want to see you looking so down, though. Is there anything I can do to help cheer you up?
You're asking me that after threatening to drag me away against my will?
I didn't think you'd look so sad when I finally get you to agree with me.
I'm not sad, just a little upset.
That's the same thing. No, it's not. Why are you being so stubborn anyway?
Well, I need to keep practicing for my next competitions. If I mess up now, I'll lose my opportunity to go to Germany forever.
So you're just going to work yourself until you drop. How is that healthy? Is this why you look so worn out? Did you rest at all during the weekend? You looked fine when I left you on Friday.
I was... okay, I suppose. Last week was really tiring and stressful for me, but I managed to keep it together until the end of exams. I didn't realize how much of a strain I'd put on my body until I go home and could rest. As soon as I dropped my guard and relaxed, it hit me hard and started flaring up again.
Flaring up? No matter what you say, no one should be this frail. A single week of school exams shouldn't be all it takes to make you this weak. Did you even sleep or eat at all over the weekend?
Of course I did.
Really?
What's with the questioning? I swear I'm not lying.
If you say so. I'm still very suspicious, though. The guy's already shown a complete disregard for his health or his limits. Part of me can't help but think that he spent most of the time of the weekend being glued to the piano like a dumbass that he is. Man, I'm salty right now. Come on, we should get going. You need help to get up. Don't. If you say I'm fine one more time, I swear I'm gonna smack you so hard you won't be able to sit properly for a week.
Where are you going to be smacking?
Even if it's just for a second, June gives a standard June-esque answer. Just that is enough to bring a smile to my face.
Don't come close to me. I don't like that look on your face.
Don't worry, I'm not really gonna hit you.
Oh my god. Wait, where are we going to begin with?
Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. What are we gonna fucking do, huh? The doctor's office or his home? Well, I have no fucking clue, so let's save. So we can hedge. Hell yeah. My instinct is the doctor's office, but I have a feeling that's... I don't know, man. Let's try the doctor's office and see what happens. We're swinging by the doctor's office real quick so you can get checked up.
Huh? We are? Why there? There's no need.
You can't seriously look at me in the eye and tell me there's no need. You're pale and can barely stay standing.
But
Didn't you say you were going to do whatever I told you to?
yes.
Don't pout at me. You're the one who agreed to this, and I don't plan on letting you back down on your promise.
All right.
I walk up to him, bending my knees slightly so I'm at eye level with him.
What are you doing?
Letting you hold on to my shoulder for support. I don't want to risk you falling.
You're making a big deal out of nothing. I can walk there just fine.
The doctor's office is on the other side of campus, and you're wavering and swaying while standing still. There's no way I'm letting you walk there without help.
Fine.
Hesitantly, the tiger reaches out for me. At first, he barely touches my shoulder with the tip of his fingers, almost as if he's afraid to really hold on. For God's sakes.
What?
I grab his arms and pull him towards me, making it so his arm is probably wrapped around my shoulder and neck. And then reach down with my arm and hold it around his waist, squeezing him tightly.
This is a little excessive.
This is why I can support you if anything. This way I can support you if anything happens. I don't want to take any chances.
But it's embarrassing.
I look around, seeing a few of our students that stayed behind in the class, looking at us slack-jawed. I suppose we haven't been the quietest thus far. I guess there's nothing that we can do about it. June's gaze is locked on them, his face bright red despite his overall paleness. Just let them look, it's no big deal.
For you.
Quickly crack the door open, sticking my head in to peer inside. Once I see the place is empty, I finish opening the door the rest of the way and walk inside. There's no one here. June follows right behind me. He stubbornly refused to lean on me after a few people gave us pointed stares on the way over, and instead we settled for me leading him while he held me by the wrist. With how dangerously close he was to holding hands, with how dangerously close this was to holding hands, even I was a little bit embarrassed. Except he didn't seem to mind much. I'm not saying the word. I don't care what game it pops up in. You can't get me to say that shit.
We tried. He's probably gone home by now. Might as well do the same.
Oh, he tried. Let's go with my wrist and tries walking away, but I quickly grab his arm and drag him right back. You stay right where you are, I swear You stay right where you are, or I swear to all that is holy, I will not be held responsible for what I might do to you.
Drat.
It's too early for him to have gone home. He's probably gone to fetch something or just went someplace else for a bit. He'll be back soon.
Do we really have to stay here?
Yes! Well, here he is. Why is the doctor smoking? Oh, for fuck's sake. Oh. As if on cue, the doctor appears by the corner holding a steaming cup of coffee. He freezes by the door for a second before coming inside and setting his coffee on a nearby table. Fancy seeing you again, Kobayashi. Again? I shoot the tiger a confused look with his eyes immediately go wide. When was it that you had to come here before?
You know, back when you brought me over that one day after the piano rehearsal.
I seem to have a vague recollection of that happening before, but it looks way too fidgety. I don't buy it for even a second, but I'll bite my tongue for now. Making sure he's okay is my number one priority at the moment, and I'd rather not pile on extra stress for him. I can yell at him all I want after. The doctor looks between the two of us with a blank look on his face, walking up to a drawer and pulling out some tools and a notepad from inside. Alright, what seems to be the problem? Well, he keeps looking away and fidgeting, almost like he's trying to avoid saying it. But not saying it won't make any less true, so there's no real point in staying silent either. I mean, for God's sakes, the man is a doctor, just tell him already. Even if it is smoking inside of his clinician's room. What the hell? The doctor quickly glances at me, watching me intently for a few seconds. Hayes, could you wait outside for a bit?
Pardon?
It's best to have privacy for doctor visits, and it can help the patient feel more at ease, so let's give him some space, okay? Despite the deadpan tone in his voice, the words are very empathetic and kind. Jun's eyes light up like fireworks as he hears the hyena's words, clearly very happy with them, his lips nearly quirking up into the first genuine smile I've seen from him all day. Fine. I step outside, walking up to the opposite wall and letting my back lean against it. I feel my entire body shivering, originating from the center of my spine and traveling all the way to my extremities. It's such an unpleasant feeling that it makes me wrap my arms around myself in an attempt to make myself smaller. Why do I feel so uneasy? I wonder what those two could be discussing in there. Is it really bad for me to know? June, why do you have to keep shutting me out of all the most important times? Do you really not trust me? No, don't get caught up in thinking this kind of crap. If it gets psyched out right now, June is bound to notice it. For how clueless and silly he is most of the time, he's surprisingly perceptive to other people's feelings and lets them affect his mood greatly. If I let him notice me feeling this way, I'm guaranteed to make him feel worse. I really don't want that. Oh, Rutherford's on. Who's that? Oh, hey, it's the KSK. My attention is brought back to reality once a familiar voice calls out to me. When I look up, I see a hare's face staring down at me with worry. At some point, I apparently let myself slide down the wall until I was sitting on the floor and hugging my knees. How lame can I be?
I was wondering why you weren't at practice yet. Don't tell me you're skipping on the first day back from recess.
He looks around, his eyes finally falling upon the plate saying medical room. His face is surprisingly blank when he notices it, but I can see his left eyebrow twitching a little when he sees it.
Are you alright?
Like putting two and two together, his mind probably jumps to the most obvious conclusion, that I'm somehow in need of medical care. Pretty quick on the uptake for a guy his age. Jeez, how is everyone around me so dang sharp and intuitive so often? They must be getting prompts from the author. Or maybe this is just me who's dense. Maybe this sort of thing is just the expected bare minimum. Man, wouldn't that be a doozy?
Rutherford's on. Hello.
Oh, sorry. I'm spacing out a lot more today. June wasn't feeling so well, so I brought him here to get checked up on. It wasn't easy convincing him to come.
Oh, I see.
Keisuke fizzes uncomfortably on his spot, looking away from me for a second.
You know, they do have a waiting room right next door. You don't need to sit around on the floor.
I know. I just feel better sitting by the door, I suppose.
You look really worried. Do you want me to keep you company until they're done?
I'm fine. I'm not the one feeling ill. There's no reason to worry about me.
From where I stand, you don't look fine at all.
Huh?
You've gotten really close to him, haven't you?
What's with this strange question all of a sudden? Keikun brings a hand back to the back of his head, rubbing his neck. His lips move without making a sound, like he's trying to think of the the words he wants to say.
Well, I've never seen you fuss over so much over anyone before. And yet, when it comes to him, you're always jumping through hoops to make sure he's alright. You also spend a shocking amount of time with him, from what Mizuguchi-san told me.
Saya said that? He nods.
You know how much she likes to gossip. She'll talk your ears off if you let her.
That is certainly true.
Come on, at least get off the floor while we talk. It's really starting to annoy me seeing you sitting around like that.
Oh, right. He stretches his hand out towards me, pulling me up to my feet as soon as I can clasp it.
Look, there's nothing wrong with caring about someone's safety and fussing over them. But if you start neglecting yourself, then you and I are going to have a problem. Don't light yourself on fire to keep others warm.
Are you being a little dramatic?
Maybe. But I still mean it. You have the really annoying habit of just single-mindedly pursuing whatever it is you have your eyes on without caring about circumstances or the cost to yourself or anything, really. And sure, it might be a part of the reason you've become such a great athlete, but you take it too far at times. Did you sleep at all last week while you were helping Kobayashi study?
I did, but I'll admit I was going to bed a lot later than usual so I could catch up on the material I needed to teach him. Can't exactly teach someone something that you're not 100% confident in.
Right. Which just illustrates my point. Don't light yourself on fire to keep other people warm. It's nice that you want to help, but there's no point if you yourself crumble. You already have a lot of stuff on your plate. And let's be very frank here, mental fortitude has never been your strong suit. Otherwise, what the hell is this with this slump you've been in for the past 2 years?
Ooh. These words strike me right where it hurts the most. God, this guy really has no mercy, does he? I suppose that's true. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit, huh? Well, I suppose that's better than nothing.
I do appreciate the concern. Thank you. It does make me feel a lot better.
Of course. If you're always trying to be a rock for others, then you'll be left with no one to lean on when you need it. You have friends. There's no shame in calling on us when you need some company.
Well, his words are definitely true. My friend's acting super weird during lunch is also part of the reason I'm so stressed. Then again, there's no reason for me to bring that up right now. That'd just be petty.
Anyway, I'd love to stick around and chat a little longer, but I was asked by the coach to come fetch something at the faculty room, and I can't keep them waiting. I'll let everyone know what you're up to, so if you need to walk Kobayashi home or anything, then you don't need to worry about not showing up.
Thanks, K-kun. That's really a big help.
Of course. I'll talk to you later.
By the way, I guess we're just sticking to the doctor's visit route. So I didn't even... Whatever. I watch him walk to the stairs and disappear from sight. Hard to think that haughty K-kun has mellowed out so much over the past couple of months. Does that have something to do with that band he's in? That influence the jazz has gotten to our boy? I take a few deep breaths, finally recomposing myself. There's no point sticking around for June if I'm just going to be giving him more things to stress over. Right, I have to be a rock. A few minutes later, after a while browsing on my phone and hanging around waiting for a kind of signal to walk back in, the door opens and I'm beckoned inside by the white-coated hyena.
We're done with our consult. I've recommended Kobayashi to be taken to a nearby hospital for the time being.
A hospital? Is everything alright?
For now. It's best if he gets plenty of rest and avoids being put at anything strenuous or stressful. That's why I'm having him admitted for observation.
He shoots the tiger a look and June immediately cowers on the gurney, awkwardly looking away from him.
If you'll excuse me, I need to get on the phone to inform his parents.
The doctor grabs his notepad, scribbling something on it while walking out of the room, leaving the two of us alone together. Mouth efforts on. Oh, this is bad. June looks incredibly downcast. His eyes are glued to the floor and a little misty. His tail is hanging limp on his lap, and he hugs his arms close to his body, similarly to how I was doing it up until a while ago. I take a deep breath, reminding myself of the doctor's words. Even before he said it, I had already decided not to stress June out further. Whatever doubts or concerns I currently have, I can leave them for later when he's not in this situation. You look like you got chewed out pretty bad. He nods meekly, still refusing to look me in the eye. I'm going to keep you company until your parents show up to take you. Is that alright? Are you sure? Don't you have practice? Missing a day isn't going to kill me. Making sure you're alright is more important. But... What? Aren't you mad at me? I've caused nothing but trouble for you during the past week, and now you're even losing practice because of me. I'm not mad. maybe a little exasperated at how little you take care of yourself.
Rutherford-san, thank you.
Of course. I just want to make sure you're alright. That much should be a given, shouldn't it? That's about all I can do for him right now. Put on a smile and try to soothe him. I can at least do that much.
Thank you.
I take a seat on the gurney right next to him, placing my hand on top of the tiger's and squeezing it. June makes a high-pitched squeaking sound at my sudden movement, which I find adorable. I'm going to stay right here with you for a while. That's okay with you, right?
Yeah.
June's mouth opens wide as he cracks a huge toothy grin at me, his cheeks turning a little bit red. Just seeing him smile like this already lifts a huge weight off my shoulders. It's not much, but even I feel like I can be of some use for him, then maybe there's something else I could do to continue improving his mood. I have an idea.
What is it?
How about I take you out this weekend? Just two of us together. We can grab a bite to eat or watch a movie, whatever you like.
Huh?
His tail poofs up to almost 3 times its size, lashing and thrashing wildly behind him. I think it's safe to say I've grabbed the tiger by the tail here.
How come?
Even though it's not usual for us to go out together, I guess me saying that considering the situation we're currently in probably feels a lot more meaningful. I guess that's not unusual? I don't know. Because I don't want your week to be all doom and gloom while you're dealing with whatever it is you're dealing with. If you won't tell me what's going on, then all I can do is try to give you support regardless. So really, anything that gets you to smile more and look forward to something.
So, is this like a date?
He cutely stammers out those words, his face growing redder and redder by the passing second. I'm vaguely worried that I might just pass out from nervousness if this keeps going, but I can't help but chuckle a little bit. I guess if it's to start with a small step like this, then I can't promise anything will come out of it, but yeah, like a date. June's eyes light up more than I've ever seen before. He stares at me wide-eyed, unable to come up with any words to say. Well, it's not much for me to say. I'm sure for him those words meant a lot. I quickly scratched my cheek, thinking of just how embarrassing the situation we're currently in is. But I can't let those silly concerns take over me now. I have to be a rock! June slides a little closer to me on his seat, leaning over to the rest, his head on my shoulder. He coos softly as he does so, his muscles on his face finally fully relaxing. I didn't realize just how tense he looked until just now. I decided to stay still and just let him have this. Just seeing him relaxed and vulnerable makes me smile from the bottom of my heart. I still don't get that saying, smile from the bottom of my heart. I get, it's like a mix of two phrases. I think I really might be. Oh, here we go.
Mom already told you you don't have to fuss over me so much.
Nonsense! My job is not to fuss over you. After a while, Yui-san showed up at the school to pick June up. The doctor took her to a separate room to have a quick conversation with her, and when they came back, her smile was much duller than usual. She quickly grabbed June by his hand and gently began leading him away. Of course, the tiger protested, being led away by the hand through the school, especially by his mother of all people. But the tigress was having none of it, and quickly silenced his attempts at protest with a few hard glares. I walked alongside the two in silence, not really wanting to say anything without being addressed. But honestly, it just feels awkward as a whole. This really isn't the place for an unrelated person to be in right now. Oh, there's a taxi. Oh, there's the taxi. We should be getting to the hospital real quick that way.
Well, you call that taxi? But they're so expensive.
This isn't the time to be worrying about that. Just shush and get into the car.
But
now!
yes, ma'am.
June quickly turns around to face me, his tail hanging between his legs. He tries to flash me a smile, but I suppose the awkwardness is getting to him as well, because the corners of his lip keep twitching and spasming. Man, he really sucks at this.
Thank you for keeping me company today and, well, just for caring about me in general. I'll see you later.
Yeah. Great final word there, dude. Yeah. He steps into the backseat of the car, closing the door behind him. Yui-san hangs around for a second, turning to look at me as well. Her gaze softens considerably, and she reaches out with her hand. Huh? With her hand, she gently cups my cheek, stroking my fur with her thumb. Thank you, Rutherford-kun. I really appreciate you looking out for him so much. I have no words to express how much it means to us. Damn. Just as quickly as it happened, her hand retreats, and the tigress walks around the car into the front side of the passenger side. The car's engine revs up all at once, apparently, and I watch the taxi drive away and out of sight. I take a hand to my cheek, still in shock at the sudden gesture. Warm. Yusan really is such a warm person. He really is lucky to have a family like that. A few more motherfucking hours later, I'm writing down some ideas for what to do over the weekend. I don't want to just wing it and end up having a terrible time, especially since June's really expecting a date out of it. Even if I don't really know where I stand on the whole thing, I want to give him a great day so he can make up for how badly he's been feeling all week. I suppose the exams really took a bigger toll on him than I imagined. Come to think of it, he probably was really tired when we went out last Friday. Knowing how much he tries to put on a brave face so others won't worry about him, the dumb idiot was probably acting super energetic and cheerful for my sake. I hate how he does that. I'll make sure to give him a piece of my mind and unload all my frustrations on him once he's finally feeling better. Just you wait for me, Kobayashi. Now it's Friday. Let's see how the hospital stay went on the next episode. Thank you all very much for watching, and until then, bye. I don't need to blow. No need to blow, apparently. That's an outro. No need to blow. Bye. Christ.